Good evening. Another terrible discovery in the woods near Star Lake in South King County. Searchers have found a fourth skeleton. They fear another victim of the Green River Killer.
Just doing you guys a favor. Killing prostitutes here, you guys can't control them, but I can.
Did you know that authorities let out one of America's most dangerous, prolific serial killers to go visit his old hunting grounds? I didn't either until recently. Why they would take such a massive risk is a question I've been asking. I'll share what I know in a second, but first I need to tell you about the Green River Killer, a psychopath who stalked the entire Pacific Northwest in the 80s and 90s. I spent days digging through this old archival video, trying to understand who this man was and why he killed an unfathomable number of women.
The person that or the identity of this person that we're investigating has been linked to the same type of activity along the strip. And as you recall, the 5 that we found in the Green River were linked to the same type of activity, prostitution.
The Green River Killer is Gary Ridgway. He assaulted and murdered 49 women, mainly sex workers and runaways in the Pacific Northwest. But for decades, no one could catch him.
So far, no suspects have been arrested in the case involving the 5 women found within a mile of each other during July and August.
At one point, he killed more than 20 women in almost as many months. Bodies found one after another by armies of searchers. It was a total nightmare, and the community was terrified.
1, 2, 3, 4, we won't take it anymore. 5, 6, 7, 8, stop the murder, stop the murder.
I'm doing this so that guy can get nailed, and I hope he does.
You know, it's scary going from your friend's house all the way home. You don't know if you're gonna get killed or what. Because it's just getting terrible around here.
Ridgway picked up his victims in his truck and would dump them along the Green River just off of the Pacific Highway between Seattle and Tacoma, Washington. He found new burial sites over the years, but the name, Green River Killer, stuck. A task force was created to catch the killer. Dozens of King County's finest were out in force.
For nearly a month now, undercover officers have been stationed in this area, keeping a 24-hour watch on Melvin Foster. Foster believes he is one of the 2 suspects.
Those people surprise me not at all. If they didn't still have me in mind, they wouldn't have their cars down here on the corner now.
Meanwhile, the real killer, Gary Ridgway, was leading a double life with an unsuspecting wife and child at home for some 20 years. Many of the victims detectives found remain nameless and faceless, the medical examiner relying on dental records. Eventually, technology caught up with the Green River Killer.
52-year-old Gary Ridgway was arrested today in connection with 4 of the Green River murders. Gary Ridgway is in custody.
Police arrested Ridgway this afternoon and say DNA evidence links him to 4 of the 49 murders of the Green River case.
The break in this case came when detectives from the sheriff's office working with forensic scientists at the Washington State Crime Lab were able to conclusively link Ridgway's DNA to 3 of the 4 victims.
Ridgway was a necrophiliac and had sex with the decomposing bodies after he killed them.
Pulled her back as far as I could, and that would choked her to death, killed her.
He pleaded guilty to 49 murders and given 49 life sentences. He had dodged the death penalty on the condition that he fully cooperated with authorities to find all of his victims. They found all of his known victims, but here's the thing. Ridgway confessed to 71 murders, which means there's possibly 22 more victims still to be found. This is why Ridgway got a 4-day break from his prison cell last September.
According to new court documents, Ridgway told detectives he would take them to locations where he left the remains of victims that have yet to be recovered.
So did they find anything when they let him out last September to go on this 4-day scavenger trip? That's what I'm trying to find out right now. So I reached out to the sheriff's office that's handling the investigation in Washington State. All they could tell me right now is that it is still active and open into these cases. But there are some tantalizing clues. Check out these documents. First, and maybe most importantly, law enforcement did not say they did not find anything. And second, Law enforcement unsealed these transport orders 6 months before they needed to comply. But on the flip side, there is at least one media report out there by a reporter citing officials within law enforcement who say no, nothing was found in September. It was just another ruse by this maniacal killer to have his fun. I'm going to be keeping a very close eye on this case, but tell me what you think is going on in the comments. Do you think that this Green River killer is just stringing us along at this point? Or do you think there's still victims out there that need to be found?